Good morning. It is Sunday, July 12th. How's it going? How is everybody doing? I'm super excited today because I'm getting a new office chair. This chair, I think in this view looks like fancy, but from here down, it's a mess. I've had it for 10 years. It's falling apart. Also, can we hear the squeaks? I don't know. I fixed my mic a couple of months ago, so unless I'm talking, there's like no background noise. Feel like for almost a year and a half, I had a lot of background noise, and then I finally figured out how to fix my mic settings. So I would be editing back videos, and I would hear every squeak, every chair squeak. And you better believe that I remember this. I had a day where I flipped the chair over, and I WD-40'd the shit out of this thing, and it still squeaks. Can you hear it? I don't know if you can hear it. Anyways, it's really loud. I'm tired of the squeak. And it's just falling apart. So I finally went on Amazon and bought a new chair, and I'm so pumped because it's getting delivered today. So there you go. Okay, that's what's going on in my world. How are you doing? How's it going? My name is Angela. I'm a front-end developer and a software engineer in St. Paul, Minnesota. On this channel, we do vanilla, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We have a great time. I saw this reel this morning. I was just, doing my morning doom scrolling while I was drinking my coffee. And I saw a reel that said something along the lines of, what did it say? Cringe is just a word to keep you from having fun. And I thought, how perfect, because I've been called cringe, and I'm here to tell you it doesn't matter. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm finally entering the phase of this channel and streaming and creating content, and it takes a long time. I'm not here to say that it doesn't take a long time. It does. It takes a long time to figure out what you're doing. For me, some people figure it out a lot sooner. It took me almost 2 years. It's going to be 2 years in August. it just takes a long time to figure out what your personality, I mean, I know my personality, but to just be comfortable with my personality, to not worry what people think. And I saw another reel. This is going to be the day of Instagram wisdom, Instagram psychology, if you will. I saw another reel that said a person with no views who keeps posting is the most dangerous because they have nothing to lose and they keep going. And that's how I feel. Now, certainly, I don't get no views. I've never had a live stream after 2 years even get 1,000 views, and I'm still here. I'm still posting. I'm still streaming. Because look at what I do have: dozens of finished projects, hundreds of hours of educational content, over 240 some live streams. Oh, and I also have a runny nose. Hang on. Hold, please. Okay, back to me. Um, it's not about the views anymore. It's just not, because I look at everything that I've done up until this point has gotten me to this point. I know that that's like an obvious statement. And I just feel I'm thinking about this database that we're going to start building next weekend, this incredible library of content and data and information that are the words that I have spoken. I want to write ebooks and I want to uh, I have all these ideas for all these things that I want to do. And how easy would it be to go to ChatGPT and say, write me an ebook on deployment for front end developers? I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do. In fact, I'm sort of doing the opposite right now. Well, not right now, months ago. Months ago. A year ago, I thought it was really cool that ChatGPT could write content or web content for me. No, not anymore. I even tried I tried the thing where I was like, well, here's my notes, here's a bullet list. Write this in my voice. It was very ChatGPT formulaic, in my opinion. ChatGPT has resolved their M dash issues, but they can't resolve structurally how they phrase things. I mean, we all see it. It's a dead giveaway, the content that is produced by AI. And I just can't do it. I don't want to do it. Now, the one exception to that is that I let it write the descriptions for the YouTube videos. I honestly don't care. That is not as important as you think it is. The description is meant to provide context to the video. And now that AI is doing, or YouTube is doing a lot of work to transcribe videos, not every video, but they are working their way through transcribing videos. They're getting the context from those transcriptions, but the descriptions initially do provide a lot of context, and the context helps YouTube decide who they're going to push that video out to. Now, that's not the only deciding factor, but it helps. It's part of the process. I don't care about how the description sounds. What I care about is that I can transcribe my live stream. Codex can read a 2-hour transcript and summarize it into a description for me because I don't remember every single thing that I talked about for 2 hours. So for that, I don't care. Go ahead, write that description for me. For everything else, no, it has to be written by me. And I'm just so delighted that I figured out that I could transcribe my own content. So when I've felt very down, especially the last few months, like, what am I doing? I had a job. I quit my job to do this. And yes, I'm also freelancing and consulting, but I quit my job to do this. And what am I doing? The channel is growing so slowly. I don't get that many views. What am I doing? And the last couple of weeks have really flipped how I think about things now. It isn't about views anymore. It's about this data. So I don't know. I'm just, yeah, I'm in a good spot right now. I'm definitely really happy with the direction that things are going, because I just see everything I've done over the last 2 years as being about so much more than views. So, I don't know. I'm happy. I'm in a good mood. Anyways, how are you doing? Let's get the chat ready. There are people in the chat. I don't have it ready yet. Let me fire it up. Let's fire it up, shall we? We do what we can when we can, right? Yes, the answer is yes. Okay, there we go. Go Elmo is here and using all of the custom emojis in the chat. Also, Monique Robinson is here. Welcome. And Emilio is here. Monique, and Emilio, all mods in the chat, all found me when I was for sure well under 1,000 subscribers. I think Emilio and Monique were the first two people to find me. I remember Monique being here. Well, between Emilio and Monique, I remember you guys being here almost from the very beginning, back in 2024. And then I know Malik Gogo Elmo found me early in 2025. I feel like it was around springtime. So happy to have the support. I love my mods. They're my earliest supporters. They help me out in the chat. They keep everything fast, fun, and friendly, just like we work at Target. I worked at Target, and that's what we always said, fast, fun, and friendly. I don't know why. I don't know why I keep bringing that up. Pixel Hacker Official is here. Long time no see. Welcome. Yeah, we haven't seen you in a while. We're happy to have you. Do me a favor. If you haven't yet, would you be so kind as to like this video, subscribe if you're new here. Helps the algorithm, helps get this type of content pushed out to more people who might be interested in this type of thing. It helps the channel grow. Yes, despite everything I just said, I do still want the channel to grow, even though I see the additional value beyond views and subscriptions and likes. Those things are still important, and we need those things to continue to grow. So there's that. Ooh, and Emilio sent a gift. What is this? I don't know what this is. Stay hydrated. Right here. I got my water. Stay hydrated. Right here. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate you, Emilio. Yeah, so there's that. So today we are wrapping up practice layouts. I have really, really enjoyed working on this. The last couple of days in particular, we did the more like complex, well, not all of it, but we did some like pretty complex JavaScript work, and I really, really enjoyed it. So we're going to wrap up our CSS, QA. Let's take a look at things on mobile. I would also like to show you how I'm planning to get started on content for the About page, because I really want the About page to be the philosophy of why practice is so important. Should we do that first? I think we should do that first because I genuinely want to show you this, and I think it will give you some insight into some of the other ways that we can use Codex and AI for things other than coding. It is such a powerful tool. You don't need it just for code. I'm here to tell you. So let's power up Codex. We're going to digress for a moment. Here's Codex. So I have this project called Content Agent. Let me open that up. We're gonna have so much fun today, you guys. You don't even know. You don't even realize. Okay, so this is my Content Agent folder, and this is where every time I transcribe one of my live streams, I keep it in this folder. I have everything broken down by project. So these are all of the projects that we've done over the last 2 years. 24 is what I've counted. Now, there could be a couple others hidden in there that I don't remember, but I think I got everything. So 24 projects. Another example of if you are willing, if you are thinking, if you're new and you need a portfolio and you don't have clients and you don't have a job yet, and you're like, I don't know what to build, what do I do? I implore you, set aside 2 to 5 hours a week of dedicated time where you just build a landing page. If you're into front end development, if you want to be better at building UIs, and look at what will happen if you do that. This is 2 years. This is everything that I've done on stream. I stream for about 2 hours. Sometimes I've had streams go a little longer. Sometimes they're a little shorter. On average, it's 2 hours. For sure twice a week, sometimes a little bit longer, and look at everything I've gotten done over 2 years. My entire portfolio right now is just the work that I've done on stream. I don't put my client work in my portfolio. I don't want that to be public. So if you needed an example of what just a few hours a week, a little bit of practice can do for you, this is it. Okay, so here's all the transcripts for every practice layouts stream. We started this project on June 6th. This goes up through yesterday. And just to give you an idea of what this looks like, this is the information that I add. So every time I transcribe, what I get is this, and it's very granular. I was initially doing milliseconds. I don't do milliseconds anymore. Let's actually look at yesterday's, since that's probably the freshest in everybody's mind. So here's the title. I now retitle every single video. We add the date, and this is all the information that we're going to be capturing in the database when we start next weekend. We've got the YouTube ID, the YouTube URL. There's a stream offset in seconds because I'm transcribing my local copy of the recording. I use software called OBS, and as soon as I click start streaming to make that connection with YouTube, I start recording, but I don't actually go live for several seconds, sometimes a minute. So there's an offset in this stream in particular. It's different for every stream. For the yesterday's stream, the offset was 24 seconds. So one of the things that I asked Codex to do is to read the transcript and come up with 8 to 12 chapter markers. But the chapter markers will not be accurate without the stream offset. So that's what that means. I'm also capturing the name of the project, the GitHub repository, and then I copy in the description for the video. So this is everything that I do after the live stream ends, and I'm in the process of working my way back through my back catalog, and I should have this, I think, entire project done by the end of August, maybe September. So we're just going to take everything that we have now, which is, I don't know, how many have I gotten done? Maybe 25 or 30 so far. And we're going to build the database with what we have done. And then every day that I do another 3, 4, 5 transcripts with this metadata and I update my backlog catalog, we'll go ahead and update the database. So there's no reason to wait to build the database till these are all done. We can start now, and then it's just going to be a process. So anyways, here's this transcript then. So then I have this job that says for YouTube, this is the YouTube job. I say read the transcript. For every transcript, generate 10 YouTube titles, 1 optimized description, YouTube chapters with timestamps, write a description for the next live stream so I can schedule the next stream with a paragraph of what I'm planning to do. Give me 5 YouTube shorts ideas with timestamps for the local copy of my recording. And then we are mining Instagram content. So what could I make Instagram content out of based on my own live stream? So again, I'm using my own words, my own transcript. So First, we have 10 YouTube titles, and here are the requirements. Suggest titles that are descriptive but interesting, max 65 characters, no clickbait, preserve my voice, focus on the technical topic, prefer HTML, CSS, JavaScript accessibility, Astro View. Actually, I should take out Astro View. I didn't even notice that. I'm going to take that out. AI deployment, QA, etc. when appropriate. Rank them from strongest to weakest. Unfold these. So one optimized description. And then, so basically I'm giving it all of these requirements for what I want it to do. And then let's look at the result now, the output. I promise I have a point. I promise I have a point. So again, let's look at the output for yesterday. And this is just based off the transcript. 10 YouTube titles ranked best to worst. And I ended up going with number 5. I retitled yesterday's video, Click to Load, YouTube Shorts, and JavaScript Reduce. Optimized description with a bullet list of things we talked about. I could never remember this. There's no way I can't remember this much detail. It's such an incredible tool to have Codex read the transcript and write this description with a bullet list of what we covered because it gives context to the video. It made the chapter markers for me. I've done this. I've spent hours of my life doing chapter markers. It's so tedious. I don't have time for it. So I stopped doing it. And now Codex can find the main points and identify with the stream offset because again, this timestamp is different in the actual YouTube video compared to the actual local recording. So we have to have that stream offset to calculate the correct timestamp. Suggested titles for the next live stream, because at the end of every stream, I say, here's what I think we're going to work on next time. And it will read that in the transcript and it will help me come up with a good title and a description. Now, I will say this, I've learned over the last 2 years that the more the streams that get the best views while I'm live tend to be broader, a little more generic. So I told it that. So I don't want it to be overly specific or nobody's going to click on it while I'm live. So, and then this is kind of a generic bullet list of what I put in. It gives me an idea of YouTube Shorts and the timestamp of where I would find these things. And then it gives me ideas for Instagram. And I have yet to execute any of the actual ideas for Instagram. I literally wrote the Instagram prompt like yesterday. So I haven't had time to make any Instagram posts yet, but I have a huge list of things I'm planning to do. Okay, so why am I showing you this? Because I was thinking this morning, oh, I need to do the about content for practice layouts. And then I was like, well, actually, what if I wrote a prompt and I had it read all the transcripts for practice layouts? I had it pull my words about why I wanted to build this site, my philosophy around practice, which I talk about in every single live stream, and have it just mine my exact words, the things that I'm saying with timestamps back to the video so I can go back and watch that part if I want to refresh my memory on what I was saying. And that will help me really write some good, robust content for that page. So let's do that. And the best helper in writing these prompts, you're not going to be shocked to find out that it is ChatGPT. Is very, very good at helping me write these prompts. So that's what we're going to do right now. But first, I want to respond to a couple things in the chat. Emilio says, such good advice. I've been wanting to code more over the last 2 years, but life keeps getting in my way. But I want to do a month of coding challenge, then keep doing it every once in a while. Do it, my friend, do it. Can you set aside, don't even do it every day. That sounds aggressive. Can you set aside 2 hours twice a week? That's literally how I started, 2 hours twice a week. And the projects will start to stack up. Do it. And Emilio says, because I tried making a web page the other day and realized I have forgotten a ton of stuff and was having trouble just doing simple stuff. Yeah, I mean, the same thing happened to me yesterday, right? When I was trying to do that reduce function, I was getting so good at reduce and then a month away from my daily JavaScript practice and I had no idea what I was doing. So daily practice or just consistent practice is what it really takes. And that's the philosophy of practice layouts. Yes, it's the domain where we deploy things, but I bought that domain I bought that domain for a reason because I have a very specific philosophy about practicing and getting better at things. So let's see if we can write this prompt. We're going to have Codex do its thing, and then we'll come back and we'll see, because it's going to take it a few minutes to read all of those transcripts and get everything printed out. So let's at least prompt it and have it be working in the background. Okay, so I want to prompt Codex to read all of the transcripts from the practice layout series of live streams and summarize my comments about my philosophy on why practice, why practice is important, why vanilla HTML, CSS, JS are important, and why, I guess that's it, right? Those are the things. And are important. Please help me write the prompt. I don't want Codex to write it for me. I want it to pull my quotes, my words, and summarize my points. Then I'll take that content and rewrite it as the about content for practice layouts.com. So let's see. Codex, ChatGPT is really, really good at writing these prompts. Yeah, here's a prompt designed to make Codex act like a research and editor, not a ghostwriter. Read all transcripts from the Practice Layouts series of live streams. Your job is to identify and organize what I've already said about why practice is important for front-end developers, why rebuilding layouts is a valuable way to learn, why repetition matters, why developers should practice outside of tutorials, why vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are important, why understanding the fundamentals matters even when frameworks and AI tools are available, how practice layouts fits into my broader philosophy about learning front-end development. Do not write polished about page copy for me. Do not invent new arguments, improve my reasoning, add generic front-end device, or write in a marketing voice. I want you to pull together my actual ideas, language, examples, observations, and repeated themes from the transcripts so I can later rewrite them into the about content for practicelayouts.com. Source requirements. Only use statements supported by the practice layouts transcripts. For every important point, include one or more direct quotes from the transcripts. Include the transcript file name. Include the timestamp when available. Preserve my original meaning and tone. And this should be include the local timestamp when available. Can I put that in there? Ooh. Include the local timestamp when available. Preserve my original meaning and tone. Clearly distinguish between a direct quote and your summary of the point. Do not silently clean up quotes. You may remove obvious filler words or repeated false starts when necessary for readability, but indicate when a quote has been lightly edited. If multiple streams contain similar comments, group them together as a recurring theme rather than treating each statement as a separate idea. If I appear to refine, expand, or contradict a point across different streams, show that development instead of choosing one version without explanation. Do you see now how powerful this is? The transcripts of these live streams and how powerful AI is. I'm so blown away by this. Okay, areas to look for. Search broadly, including places where I may not explicitly use phrases like my philosophy or why practice matters. Relevant comments may appear while I am explaining why I created practice layouts, discussing how developers learn, talking about tutorials, courses, roadmaps, or coding challenges, encouraging viewers to build something themselves, talking about repetition, muscle memory, confidence, or problem solving, explaining why I use vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, comparing fundamentals with frameworks. I mean, for the love of the traveling Mary. Discussing AI-assisted development or vibe coding, talking about copying a mockup or recreating an existing design, explaining that the layout is only a starting structure and becomes unique through content, imagery, branding, and implementation. Discussing accessibility, responsive design, semantic HTML, CSS, DOM manipulation, or JavaScript fundamentals. Talking about becoming comfortable with development rather than memorizing code. Explaining the difference between watching someone code and doing the work yourself. Hello, courses and tutorials. Discussing what front-end developers actually need to practice. This is unbelievable. And okay, Angela, you're just repeating yourself. Output format. Creating a research document with the following sections. Core philosophy. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Why practice matters. Why rebuild. This is all for like 2 paragraphs of about content, but honestly, maybe I could turn this into like an ebook or something. Should I turn this into an ebook? Practice layouts, the ebook, right? Why rebuilding layouts works. Collect my comments about Should I make an ebook? Collect my comments about recreating layouts, working from mockups, learning through imitation, and turning an existing visual structure into an original finished project. Why vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript matter. Repeated phrases and language. Strongest direct quotes. Possible about page content categories. Gaps in the source material. Final verification. Okay, so clearly we are asking for a lot more than we need for a couple of paragraphs of about content. I'm not naive. My ego isn't so big that I believe that all of this information belongs on an about page and that people are actually going to read all this. I know how the internet works, and I know people don't read huge pages filled with content. Clearly, we're asking for a ton of information, and I think it will genuinely be helpful. And I'm obviously going to be able to get a lot of what I need in order to do some about content, but I'm reading these specifications, these requirements, and I'm like, this is an ebook. I could take all of this and make an ebook, which would be really cool and is something that I really, really want to do. So, okay, let's at least get this going. So we'll do jobs. I do have an ebook prompt. I have lots of prompts. Okay, so we're going to call this, I'm just going to call it practice layouts. Practice layout.md. Holy Toledo. Okay. Let's give this a title. Okay. Now we need to prompt the prompt. I also have an instructions right here, which is like general. YouTube content agent. Sure. You are helping Angela process transcripts from live coding streams. Goals. Preserve Angela's voice. Never invent code that wasn't discussed. I mean, I can't believe that I even have to include that, but we've all seen it. Focus on front-end development. Prioritize educational value. Avoid clickbait. Never exaggerate. Avoid game-changing, mind-blowing. You won't believe. And I included mental model because I hate that phrase. Prefer educational, conversational, experienced, honest. Audience, front-end developers, career changers, people learning professional front-end development. Do not invent technical details. Preserve Angela's opinions when present in the transcript. Return everything as markdown. So I always have it read the instructions first and then read let me see here. This is all my updating defaults. I was like, pull everything out of my transcripts that could be a possible like merch idea. We'll see. Here's my Instagram. Here's my ebook. Let's do this one. It's kind of generic. So we have to, let's update this so we're getting the correct. So we wanted to do everything in this folder, transcripts 24_practice_layouts. And we'll just do this. Process all files in transcripts, practice layouts, and we'll just do a wildcard. Save output as markdown in the output folder. So let's do an output folder. Let's do practice layouts about output practice layouts about, whoops. Yeah. And the job is, what's the job? Practice layouts.md. All right. So let's let this percolate in the background. And then we can start doing our QA. So content agent, I'm going to start a new chat. It's a little bigger. I had to tell it to, for some of the jobs that I, like the YouTube job, I had to tell it specifically to reread the instructions every single time because I would update the YouTube job or I would move things or exclude things or just make an update and it wouldn't read it, even though it was in the prompt. So I had to explicitly say, do not rely on your memory. Reread the prompt every single time we run this job. It's wild prompting the prompts. So, okay, so I just want to read this quickly. I'll read the project instructions and job specification first, then process every matching transcript in the requested output folder. The job calls for one source-grounded research document, not separate polished articles. I found 15 transcripts. I'm extracting time-stamped passages across all of them and will verify each selected quote against the source. The source is consistent but not simplistic. Tutorials are described as useful introductions or answers to specific questions, while projects are where learning happens. Frameworks and AI are treated as necessary tools, while vanilla practice remains the place to understand and retain the underlying work. I'm preserving that evolution instead of framing the transcripts as anti-tool. Thank you. Okay, we'll let this do its thing and then we'll come back to it. So, well, I didn't realize that I was going to do that today, so thank you for letting me digress as if you had a choice. But yeah. So then with that document this week, I mean, I don't know, maybe I didn't need that document to do that, but you never know. It pulls out interesting things. It finds things in the transcripts that I know I say, but I kind of forget that I say. And yeah, I don't know, kind of cool. So there's that. Let's get back to styling, shall we? Well, should we do our first QA? So here's our GitHub repo. Let's actually pull this up and take a look at it. Let me get this pulled up on my phone and I will share my screen. And I'm sure there's things, we haven't looked at it on mobile at all. All right. Let me see here. One moment while I pull this up. I have a new way of doing this. The last time I did it, it crashed everything. There we go. Okay. So here is, let's do this so we have it against a nice dark background. It'll be easier to see. We can close some of these things. There. I'll put it right here, right in the middle. A much better contrast also this way. So navigation is working really well. I do want to adjust the timing on the search because I remember adjusting the timing because I didn't have a good stacking order. We fixed the stacking order, but I never fixed the timing. And I was also thinking about making the search blue. The gray is just a little dull to me. So let's make the search blue. And then the border, the underline, the SVG, the word search, just for mobile could be white text. I think this part is fine. The responsive grid is fine. Here's our video. On iOS, autoplay doesn't work. On desktop or on a desktop browser, it's fine if it's not on page load. If it's click to load, it will work. But on mobile, you load the iframe and then you have to actually play the iframe separately. But it does work. We need to style our sidebar. Here's our short. There's no audio. Captions are by default. I don't know why. There's no audio because the phone is plugged in. Or maybe, can you guys, I don't know, is there audio? I have no idea if you guys can hear this or not. I don't think so, but I don't know. There we go. There's our footer. Here's the about page. We obviously have to adjust some of the spacing. And then these all link off to other sites. And we have that gradient. I feel like that gradient just kind of puts a big line down the middle. Let's update this gradient for mobile. I do still like the gradient, but it just puts like a big line down the middle. So let's update the gradient for mobile. So should we be making a list here? Where is... Did I not open? Really? Okay. I did not open this up yet. Okay. So this is done. We're not doing this today. This is in progress. Yeah, the rest of this stuff is this is just good old-fashioned to do. What are we doing today? About content is in progress. So we want to change linear gradient on mobile nav background. Change background color of mobile search. And we also obviously need to adjust spacing on inner pages for mobile. And I'm pretty sure we have to adjust the spacing for anything in search. So even if we go back to the home page, oh, and looks like we need to update the link for the logo in the header. Update logo link in header should point to the home page. Top to bottom, left to right. That's my QA philosophy. I don't have like a hard and fast checklist. I just go top to bottom, left to right. So we need to also change the timing of the search scroll. So change timing of search animation on scroll. I think everything else looks fine. We need to like we need to move around sidebar items into logical order. Copy. No, make sure sidebar is consistent on home and contact page. Oh, style the load more buttons button. Check all padding, margin, and container widths. So on mobile, the container widths, I think all look fine. You know, I was kind of thinking about on the footer, I'm just going to say adjust footer layout. I have an idea to simplify the footer that I will show you. So I think this is a good start. Oops. Yeah, I think this is a good start. Look how much better this looks compared to the old way. You can see every detail. You can see the borders, the drop shadows, the subtle shades of gray. This looks so much better this way. Okay. So let's get started. Let's get started. No, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, that would have been, we could just do this next time. Yeah. Okay. That's what I meant to do. Okay. And this is GitHub. Let's open up our actual page. Should we check and see how Codex is doing? It's probably done. Let's check. Let's just take a look-see. Okay. Processed all 15 transcripts and created the research document. It includes all 8 requested sections, source file names, timestamps, direct quotes, recurring themes, and source material gaps. Stop. They need to fix this. I don't need that to pop out every time I hover. Let's see here. So here's our output. Let's take a look at this document. This document organizes ideas already expressed, blah, blah, blah. Core philosophy. Practice is the step where learning becomes usable. Summary. Courses and tutorials have a legitimate but limited role. A course introduces a subject and a tutorial can answer a specific question. I repeatedly separate those forms of guidance from the work of learning through projects, problem solving, and building independently. So these are my exact quotes now. This is the real powerful part. There's a course, there's a tutorial, and then there's practicing. So learn the basics, get introduced to the idea, and then a tutorial will answer a specific question, but practicing is how you really learn. You can only take so many courses and tutorials. You have to get out there and practice. You have to get out there and build stuff. If you need things for your portfolio, your GitHub, you need repositories, just grab some mockups and practice building user interfaces. The type of work that I do on this channel is a project where we start from scratch and we go all the way through and we build from a set of mockups, including deployment. I build these fun little vanilla landing pages and I keep my UI skills fresh and I build these vanilla apps. I would never say that you don't need a framework or a library to be a working front-end developer. You also need to know vanilla. I just want people to remember that vanilla is important. This is how the internet actually works. This is what browsers actually read. And it's taking this directly from June 6th, and then this is the timestamp. So I can go back and watch that video, or that part of that video if I need to refresh my memory, which I often do. The tools are going to be an important part of the process, but you have to understand what's being output. When you can get a sense for how other people are thinking through problem solving, I feel like that's when things just start to click for people, especially new developers. It's a process that can only, yeah, okay, so you get the point. And listen, you've all been here. You've heard me talk about these things 5,000 times, so you know. Yeah, it's really powerful. This, hopefully you can see. I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse at this point, but hopefully you can see why I'm so excited about this. 15 2-hour transcripts, so we're talking about 30 plus hours of content that Codex can go through and mine my words, so I'm not just going to ChatGPT or Claude or whatever and saying, hey, write me an ebook on deployment for front-end developers. I can actually pull out my own quotes. So it just, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Okay. Back to our regularly scheduled program. So let's start at, well, we can say that this is, no, we're going to say in progress because I have the raw data. Now I need to turn that into content. So we'll leave that as in progress. Change linear gradient on the mobile navigation background. You can see that. I think you can. I think this is favicon. Make a favicon. How about that? Make a favicon. Okay. So here is our linear gradient. And we're just going to remove the third variable for mobile. Right here. And I know that we've got navigation this class is already in our media query right here. We'll just add this right here. And instead of this third variable where we go blue, light blue, blue, I'm just going to take out the third variable so we just have two transitions there. Perfect. So now we just still have that little bit of depth, and yeah, that's all I wanted. We could go, instead of to the right, we could go to bottom. We could go top to bottom. What if we did that? Yeah, I think I like that better. So it's dark on top and it gets lighter as we go down. Beautiful. All right. Done. Change the background color of mobile search. So we want to change the background color of the search form, which right now has this light gray. We'll have to change the color of the border, the label, the SVG. That's fine. So let's change this to blue. And then if we set the color on search form, no, let's just do it here. It's defined here, so we're going to have to do it here. So we have to change this to white. That's the label. Here's the border. So we're going to change this to white. Here's our SVG with a stroke of black. And we're going to change this to white. What? Oh, and this is Angela, you did the desktop. Okay. I changed the desktop styles. Mobile. Okay, right here. Now we're inside the media query. Right here. Background color. Blue. Label. Color. White. SVG. Was it a stroke or a fill? I think it was a stroke. Yes. White. Okay, looks like we also have to change the background of the input. Oh, yeah, which does have... Where's our border? kind of want to make this a linear gradient also, just to give it a little bit of depth. So let's grab our linear gradient. Let's do the same one that we're doing for the navigation. Oh, but we have to make it the background for the input transparent then. And this needs to be transparent. Yeah, I like that. It just gives it a tiny little bit of like depth. Now let's fix the timing. So here's the timing right here. We changed this. So first of all, we were playing with this timing because I couldn't get the stacking order right. Once we got the stacking order correct, I should have come back and changed this. Stop. So I'm going to go back to my 300 milliseconds, which is the timing that I tend to use for everything. And then instead of translate Y 200 pixels, it's just going to be 100%. We did that because we needed to move it beyond the move it beyond the space that the header takes up because I couldn't figure out the stacking order. Now that I know how to stack it behind the header correctly, we can go back to 100%. And the timing's just going to be a lot smoother, I think. Oops, need to go negative 100%. There. Can you see the difference between how much smoother that is? That timing is so much better. Okay, so we clearly have to change the color on the input. We can do that next. There we go. I think that label is a little tight up at the top there. So let's see. I know we used a transition for that. So I feel like we can just I think we need to adjust the padding also for mobile. So we've got, here's our padding. We have 1.25 rems on the top. We have 2.5 rems on the right, which I was actually thinking of adjusting anyways. We did that because originally there was a button. We don't need a button because it's a filter that with the debounced input, right? So you don't actually click submit. There's no template, search template. You don't go to another page. We're just filtering the JSON. Then we have 0.5 on the bottom, 0 on the left. So we're going to reduce the padding on the right. We're going to add padding on the left. We're going to reduce padding on the top, which I actually think we could do this for desktop and it would be fine for mobile as well. So let's reduce that, and add that. So we have 1 rem on the top, 2 rems on the right, which is padding. So the input, the input by default has that little X where you can clear the input, and we want that to clear the SVG. We want 0.5 rems on the bottom and 0.5 on the left. And that, I think that's gonna, so we might want to take down this padding for mobile. Oh, quite a bit for mobile, I'm thinking. I think that's gonna work really well for desktop. So let's just make some adjustments for mobile. that might be too much. We'll see. And then where is our transition for the label? We don't need this, but I think we want to adjust this. Teensy tiny bit. It's still, oh, is the padding, wait, what? So I think we actually need, so since we took out padding from the input, we still need padding on the form itself. You can see, I can tell here because this gap is a lot bigger now because I reduced that padding. So maybe on top, one rem on the left and right, one rem on the bottom. Oh, did I change, what did I transition? I transitioned something. Yeah, that worked. Here, we need to, oh, the input needs focus. There we go. There. Okay. I feel like we're so close. So this I think could be 35. We need to adjust the form for mobile. We're still on our media query. I'm just gonna add 1.5 rems on top, and then we'll keep one rem on the left and right and one rem on the bottom. Okay. I think that looks fine. I think that looks good now. It feels like it has a lot more room on top than it needs, but then when you actually activate that input and there's the transition, I think it has the perfect amount of room. And I'm happy with this transition. I'm happy with the amount of space that's here between the hero and the search. The next thing we need to do is make sure that we're adjusting. So if I search here, CSS grid, We clearly have to change the spacing for the search results, but that's true on desktop. So, so there's that. Um, okay, I'm happy with that. Adjust spacing on inner page, change background color of search. I'm listening to a conversation in the hallway. Okay, it's not that juicy. Okay, update the logo, adjust spacing on inner pages for mobile. Yes, this is done. This I'm going to put here. Okay, let's do this next. Update the logo link in the header. So here's the home page. Let's check the about page. Yeah, we just have to take this dot out so it points back to the root. Same with the contact page. That should fix that. Okay. Adjust spacing on inner pages for mobile, and actually this just applies to search results too. So let's start with desktop. So we know the spacing here all looks fine, but as soon as we start searching, we're right up against the top here. So we just need to make sure that our search results. Oh, and Malik says, you have been getting some good comments on the reaction video. Definitely think you should do more. So, Malik Robinson, Go Elmo, kindly offered to be a comment moderator for me because I did have some comments from my earlier videos that I did in May. The two videos that have gotten the most views of anything that I've done on this channel, 6,000 and 4,000 views respectively, generated hundreds of comments, most of them good, some snarky, and some just downright mean and fucking rude, if you ask me. And I was chatting with Malik on a Zoom call one day, and I was like, I want to make more videos like that, but the comments stress me out. They they weren't even that bad, but they were bad enough that they just stressed me out. And he kindly offered to like be a comment moderator for me, and I'm so grateful. So thank you for letting me know that. So here's the deal that we have. He's going to go through the comments first, and he's just going to silently either remove if it's absolutely egregious, or just, I said just give it a heart. Even if it's just snarky, just give it a heart. Just so it like gets out of the queue, and I just don't even want to see it. And then he was gonna leave like the best, nicest comments for me to go look at. So, and he says the newest one I think you will like a lot. I haven't seen a bad one yet. It is good. I get notifications whenever someone posts a comment. God, I'm just so grateful. And here's the thing. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about Malik Robinson, Go Elmo. he is so chill. Like he is the chillest person, one of the chillest people I've ever talked to. He's just like so cool, calm, collected. There isn't a better person to check the comment section. But also, when it's not a comment that is directed at you, a comment that's directed at him personally, it's, and I get this, like, have a third party. If you're making content and the comments stress you out, have another person, have a third party help you with something like that. I heard it phrased a really good way. Let's say you open a coffee shop. If someone threw garbage outside the front door of your coffee shop every single day, would you learn to love garbage, or would you hire somebody to clean up the garbage? Right? Get some help with the things that stress you out. You do not have to learn to love comments, especially bad comments. Here's the other thing that I've learned about being a content creator. It will never matter what I say. It will never matter how careful I think that I'm being, how well thought out I think my point is, how careful I am to make sure that I don't contradict myself. Somebody somewhere will run to the comments section and say that I said something I didn't say. I implied something that I didn't ever imply. It's pretty common to have somebody tell me that I'm not a real software engineer. I'm a web developer and I will never understand software engineering because I'm just a web developer. Things like that. That stuff is hard to read, especially when it's wrapped in like a lot of sarcasm and snark. And Malik Robinson, like he kindly offered to be like the first line for me, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for like the mods, everybody who comes to support me, and like just makes me feel like somebody's watching out for me. Yeah, you can't please everyone. So, well, thank you for letting me know that. I really appreciate it. I will definitely go check that out. I feel really, now that I have someone who can kind of like be that first line, I feel emboldened is the best word. That's the word I've used before. I feel emboldened to make more videos like that because I love making those types of videos. I definitely have an opinion. I am open to having my mind changed. That is the most important part. If I see a recurring theme in the comments section of people being like, actually, you're not considering XYZ and you need to think about that. You're not considering that. Like, I'm open to that. Yeah, I'm down for it. Here's the other thing. Like, can we just be perfectly honest about the kind of thing that gets views on YouTube? I love my live streams. I love that I've been streaming for 1 hour and 23 minutes and I've had a total of 109 people click on this video. I love it. There are 9 people watching right now. This is a slow way to grow a channel, and I am never going to make money on YouTube. If my average views on a live stream is between 2 and 400. Sometimes I get a little more, sometimes I get a little less. I have never had a live stream even get 1,000 views before. This is just not where you make money on YouTube, but I love this format and it is clearly has value. However, I need views, I need the channel to grow, and I would like to start earning. I did the work to get monetized. I'm ready to start earning money now on YouTube. I can't do that with live streams alone. I can't do that with 12-hour HTML, CSS, and JavaScript videos. I'm so much more comfortable on camera, speaking my opinion, talking about the things that I've learned, experienced, talking about AI than I have ever been in my entire career. And I think that that's the stuff that is going to get me the views and help this channel actually grow. And I'm here to, and for any, that's the other comment that I often get is that I'm grifting on the AI conversation. Okay, grifters gotta grift. There's nothing wrong with earning a living. Osloy, who hasn't been here in a while, but Osloy has said many times in my chat, you wouldn't criticize somebody who got a paycheck from doing their job, would you? There is no shame in earning money when you add value. So it's how the world works. Solo Clips is here. Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us. All right, well, that was a fun little detour. Thank you for letting me know. Go, Elmo. And there's definitely more reaction content coming. So for now, I think about once a week, I'm going to try to bump it up to twice a week. But yeah, super, super fun to make those videos. And I have like a little system. Instagram Reels is an untapped. Mostly people are doing reactions to TikTok videos, and it's because TikTok videos are very, very easy to download. It's not that easy on Instagram, but I came up with a little system. So it's a underutilized source of content that I will fully be utilizing because I'm not really on TikTok. So all right, well, that was fun. That was a fun little detour. Let's get back to this. So here is, so we are rendering our results here. Okay, so you know what this makes me think? We don't want to change the spacing on this container because this is the same container where this is the same container that just has our normal portfolio items. So we would probably want to add a class here like portfolio and then a second class matched, like matched items, right? Or searched. And then we can use the rendered searched results or matched items to add that spacing. So let's go look at our JavaScript. Let's close a couple of these files. Let's see here. So this is projects.js. So I think that anytime we're doing I think anytime we are rendering items, we should be adding a class to the root because the root is the portfolio container. Right? So let's do it. Root class list add matched. So we're rendering our matched items here and we're rendering our matched items here. And then we're going to want to obviously remove that, right? So then if we're going to come back here and render our slice data again, I'm going to remove. Yeah, and this is the inner page. So we're not re-rendering anything, but I think this will work. So we're looking for this class to get added here. There we go. Beautiful. Let's make sure that works on the inner page. Whoops. I hit return. Okay, that just made me think of something though. How many people are going to type in and then hit return? Because this is, when you do that, it submits, it's inside a form. So I think we have to put on our form, what do we put? No, how do you make sure a form doesn't submit when someone hits return? Hang, don't tell me. Prevent default. Hang on. I'm gonna Google this one. How to make sure form does not submit when hitting enter. I feel like there has to be an HTML solution to this. To prevent an HTML form from submitting when a user presses the enter key, you must intercept the keyboard event using JavaScript and call event. Okay. Okay. I feel like that kind of feels important. So probably we just want to stick that here, right? Yes, I think so. No, we have to do, oh yeah, inline HTML. No. Using jQuery. No. Okay. So we need specifically to do an event listener called key down. If event key equals enter, tag name, event target. Check if the focus is not on a text area or a submit button. So we're already checking the focus on the input, which is search right here. But we're just checking for the value. We're not checking the focus. So if the tag name is not a text area and the event target type is not submit, oh, so we don't need to do this check because we don't even have those things. So I think we can just do an event listener key down. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll do this. I think it's important. So I'm going to do it after. I'm going to do it after. So here's our input. Do we have our form? Selector. Search form. Okay. So if the event key is equal to enter e prevent defaults. What do we think? Boom. Beautiful. That worked. You're going to have to trust me. I hit the enter key. That's pretty easy, huh? Nice. Good. You know what else I think we can do? I think we can... No, I'm not going to worry about it. I was going to say we could reduce this padding a little more, but it's fine. Okay, let's check our QA list. Oh, so we added that class. We haven't adjusted the spacing yet. So I think on inner pages, the spacing is fine because we already have this heading here. So it's not bumping up against anything, but let's just double check. So this looks fine, but something I did notice is that this is not in a container here. I don't know why. So it's not specifically in a wrap. That's because we removed the wrap. So that's kind of unique to this page. So I think we just want to make sure that the portfolio has a max width, and I don't think that'll impact anything else. We just want to make sure that that portfolio, so here's the, you put a max width on something, it's just the maximum, right? So I think we could do wrap and portfolio, and I don't think it would impact anything with the sidebar. But we'll have to check and see. So there's that. Doesn't impact anything on the home page. Oh my God, there's somebody in the hallway slamming doors. It's making me insane. Yeah, this is fine. It's got a little extra padding there, but that's okay. Okay, and then let's make sure that this looks okay. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so now we just have to write a little CSS for the matched results. So here's portfolio matched. Here's the thing though, the inner pages have that H2, but I think we can, so here's the H1. So if the H1 with a sibling of wrap has, no, we would just do H1 sibling wrap portfolio matched. That's how we target this. No, the spacing here is okay. So we would say, how would we target that for the home page? Because what's different about the home page? The difference on the home page is that this H1 isn't there. So we want so we would say well, this is hidden. So what's the best? I'm thinking of the best way to target that. Best way to target that is to put just to put a class on the home page. Am I overthinking this? Should I just add a body class to the home page? Because that's the one page. So we can just say, we'll just say home. No need to overthink that. So now we can say home page. That's a static website. So now we're just going to say home page, home matched. Literally, that's it. Home matched. Home matched. And then we know that we need to add space here. Well, really, we need to add space here. So we'll say home wrap has matched, and then it adds the selector is the wrap. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Okay. So we need the wrap right here. Okay. So we have lots of conditions for wraps here. And so here's mobile. So let's do this. So we've got home wrap has, is it match or matched? It's matched. So if the home wrap has a matched, which is a child selector, then the wrap needs margin on top, let's say 2 rems. There, that worked. Let's make sure we didn't break anything on the inner pages. There is no wrap here, so that's good. That still looks good. And yeah, this looks fine too. Perfect. Great. Okay. And then let's see how, I think the mobile needs to be a little more precise because of the search. Yeah. And again, we only need to, well, no, for mobile, I think for mobile, we are going to have more impact because of this. Okay. So here's our selector. Home wrap has matched. It's well, a little too much margin there. We just want margin on the top. There we go. So now for mobile, let's just stick to the home page for now. So for mobile, I'll take this. Six. It needs to be 6 rems on mobile. Okay. Now let's check the about page, which this has to be adjusted by default. So I think for this, we would just want to move should we have moved? What has padding here? Is it padded? What is it that's holding this down here? See, this makes me think that I just need to put padding on this main container and not try to, yeah, this is going to make my life a lot easier if I'm not doing this. Because every page has a main container, not every page has a hero. So let's fix that. Oops. Okay. So the thing that we just did right here, I'm just going to take this out. Because I don't think that's going to be the right way to do it. Hero. And we're going to take that out. I think main is the better way to deal with this. And we know it's 6. So here's our desktop for main. We'll do 6 rems on top, and then we'll keep it at 0. Oh, Hero still has paddings for desktop. So we'll just take that out. Well, so desktop was 2. Let's see if we need to adjust this, or I think we do need to just remove it or reset it back to 0. There. So now if we use search, so there's our padding. We don't have a hero. Now we can remove the margin from the wrap. Yeah, that is a much better way to deal with that. So here's our desktop. This. No, that's our main. So this we have to reset back to 0 for mobile. There. Okay, let's see if our strategy worked on the inner pages. Looks good. Yeah, I'm good with this. There's a lot of space here because of the, I mean, we can adjust this primary heading for mobile. We could take the margin. Yeah, we can adjust this for mobile. Let's do it. Primary heading. So this is the H1. I'm going to use this media query. Oh, I think I said 1.5. Beautiful. That looks great. Oh, you know what else I wanted to do? I wanted to put a little bit of a box shadow on. So I'm going to say that this is done. I think this is looking pretty good. And it's mobile and desktop. I think this looks really good. But here's the other thing I want to do. Let's do a box shadow on screenshots/images. Let's do that. And you know what? I kind of feel like we did this. Padding, margin, and container width. I feel like we did this too. Okay, let's do this. We're going to keep going. So it's been 1 hour and 53 minutes. We're going to keep going. We don't have that much left to do. So I'm here for it. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to take a drink of water though. One moment. So let's switch back to desktop. Let's add a little box shadow here, especially for the things that have white, just to separate it a little bit off the page. So Wordfolio. we'll give this. So box shadow has 1 pixel on the 1 pixel on the x-axis, 1 pixel on the y-axis, 1 pixel blur, 1 pixel spread. Those are my settings. So, but it's XY blur spread. And then we'll do RGBA. 0, 0, 0 is black. And then we'll do 10% alpha transparency. There, that gives it a little bit of a box shadow. Thinking about just doing 0, 0. See how that looks. Yeah. I like that a little bit better. There. I like that. Just a soft little lift. Okay. So let's make sure that our sidebar looks okay. So here's the home page. I think right now for the sidebar, we'll take out the lorem ipsum. The shorts will just be about Angela, and then we'll do the project count, and that's fine for now. So I'm going to take out this lorem ipsum. I'm going to take this out right here. And then I'm going to put this right here. Take this out. Actually, I'm going to put the project count first. There. For now, this is fine. I think over time, I'll probably refine this and pick different shorts, whatnot. But for now, this is exactly fine. So let's make sure that this is, our sidebar is the same on the contact page. And then that will be done. There. The other thing that I noticed, and I know why, it's because of the absolute positioning, the border. So I think we're just going to remove the border for the sidebar. So let's see here. Well, it's the thing that's getting the border is the portfolio item. So we want to change the sidebar for the portfolio item. So anything, I think, shorts, or it could just be sidebar portfolio item. So we'll do that here. Sidebar portfolio item. border, bottom, none. There. That is fine. I'm sure I'll refine that over time. We're just about done. Done. Make sure sidebar. Yes, this is done. Style the load more button and adjust the footer layout. So here's our load more button. And we don't have any button styles. Here's our wrap. So I think that I will remove the I'm going to remove the padding at the bottom of the portfolio. We could do that. So I'm just going to say padding 0. Okay. Here's the other thing. If it's the last of type, we're going to remove that padding, margin, and border. So we need to do portfolio item last of type. Right here. And I think we can combine it. No, those will be separate. This one, I just want to do the, no, I think we can combine it. No, this does need to be separate because they all need to have the border removed. Portfolio, item, last of type. Padding, 0. Margin, 0. Border, bottom, none. There we go. Now our button and our container. Why aren't you? Did I spell you wrong? Why do you still have padding? Oh, it's the wrap. Was there a reason I put padding on the wrap? I mean, yeah, I think we do kind of want padding. Well, but the button sits outside the wrap. But the button's going to be disabled and hidden. Well, let's get the button styled and see what happens. That's an acceptable amount of padding. Okay. So here's our button. Buttons by default are display inline block. Yeah, that doesn't work. It has to be inside a container and then text align center, but that's okay. Okay, let's style the button. Do we have button styles? Yes, but not call to action buttons. Okay. So let's just do button. And we're going to say border, none, background, color, transparent. I'm going to say border 2 pixels, solid. Let's do our light blue. Color, white. Make sure it has some padding. So we'll do 1 rem on the top and bottom, 2 rems on the left and right. And then let's give it a border radius of 50 VH, viewport height for pill shaped. There we go. Oh, and I guess the color is going to need to be blue. Okay. Let's make the text transform uppercase, letter spacing 1 pixel, font weight 600. And then let's make sure it's got some margin. 0 on top, 0 on the left and right, 1 rem on the bottom. Okay, how do we center that now? So we actually need to expand this. So this is shorthand. Top, left, right, bottom. But if we expand it, it's top, right, bottom, left. So top, right, bottom, left. I want the left to be 50%, pushes it. So this is the exact center. And then I'll do transform, translate on the x-axis negative 50%. Now it's in the middle. So now this should be, did that work? I feel like it doesn't look centered to me. There's the container. So it's centered against the wrap, not the portfolio. I didn't put it inside the wrap because the wrap is grid and it was kind of messing with the grid. You know what? That's fine. It's in the center of the page. I would prefer that it's in the center of this container, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Okay, so now this button is disabled. I thought it was also hidden, but now it's disabled. So first let's do focus, hover, active styles. So button, focus, button hover, button active. So I want the background color to be the same as the border color, which is light blue. And we're going to change the text color to white. And we're going to transition those. So we'll transition. We're going to transition the background color. 300 milliseconds, ease in, out. And we're going to transition the color, 300 milliseconds, ease in, out. So now we need disabled styles. So disabled is both an attribute and a pseudo class. So now we're going to do button disabled. So we want, I think, honestly, I don't want there to be a focus hover active for the disabled button. I just want there to be this and opacity 50%. There. Really, it should just be hidden, right? Shouldn't the button just be hidden? And cursor disabled, right? Disabled, is that it? None. Cursor none. Oh, no, not none. Cursor not allowed. There. It's overkill. It's overkill. We're pretty much done here. Okay, I know there's stuff happening in the chat. I'm trying to power through, people. So HB, let me see here. So HBK had a comment. Hang on. Yeah, the mods will delete your comments if they think that you're being a little too pushy. Let's see here. Let's see what was happening. I think this was comment asking me about when I'm starting a new project. We're starting a new project next weekend. So, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be starting on Friday. This week at noon. I like that. I like going live at noon on Fridays. That's noon my time. It's going to be a full stack app. It's going to be, we need to finish doing the requirements gathering. So we're going to start Friday, finishing the requirements gathering, writing the prompts, setting up the file structure, and maybe getting started actually doing a little vibe coding. So tune in Friday. We'll see how far we get. I feel pretty good about getting the back end database part of this project done next weekend. And then I think we'll spend the following weekends working on the front end. So there's that. So we're starting a new project on Friday, this next week. What else do we have here? Malik says, can't rush people. Everyone has their own timeline. You can always watch, yeah, you can always watch the stream back. I try to get to comments in the chat as soon as I can. Malik wants me to take a short break and stretch my legs, unless you are close to being done. I am. I will take a drink of water, though. Pixel Mind is here. I need a laptop. I lost access to my other laptop. What do I do? I am a web developer. Yeah, you're gonna have to look for you're gonna have to look for a new laptop. That's a great question. Good luck. Good luck with that. I'm sure you'll do fine. So, I think that we are gosh darn close to being done here. Let's see where we're at. See where we're at. Style the load more button, done. Okay, I have adjust the footer layout. That's going into the master to-do list because I'm kind of done for today. So, and Pixel Mind says I am just 15. 15 years old. You need some funds. That's what your parents are for. Ask your parents for help. Do not go into the live stream of a stranger. You came to the wrong place, my friend. I cannot be guilted into giving people money. I don't work that way. That might work with other people. Doesn't work with me. For one, I don't think you're 15, and I don't care how broke you are. We're all broke. We're all struggling. We're all trying to figure it out. So, you'll be fine. You'll figure it out. You need money, you'll figure out a way to earn money, right? So, okay. So let's get this deployed, and then we'll go ahead and take a peek on our GitHub page, and then we will deploy to production. So, QA styles and adjustments. Integrations. And just a reminder that our integrations branch deploys to the GitHub pages, which we treat as our dev or staging site. And then in GitHub, we will do a pull request to merge our integrations with main. And then we have a GitHub action set up that will deploy it to DigitalOcean, which is practicelayouts.com. So, okay. We're going to move quick. We're going to move quick through this because I'm getting tired. I'm ready for lunch. I want to take Heidi for a walk and get a little sunshine. It's very warm here today, but I've been in the air conditioning all day long, and I'm ready for my blast of hot air. So, yeah. Let's see. We'll know if this deployed. Well, first of all, I know it deployed because our styles are on the search bar. Enter. Yes. Oh. What did I do? So here's sometimes the problem with having this open. Hang on. Oh, this needs to be auto right here. We can fix that. There we go. Okay. So we know that we need to deploy that. Here's our button. With our overkill disabled state. Yeah, let's actually look at our we'll look at our phone. We'll keep going here on the desktop and then I'll actually look at my phone. It's looking really good though. Hmm. We do need space here. Okay, so that's probably why I had padding on desktop at the end of that. So we can add that back in. No problem. Hmm. So that's going to add a little more padding. I think I'm fine with it. I just don't, um, I'm running low on energy to care about some things. So let's go ahead and push these last two things up and then we'll take a look on mobile and then we will get this deployed. Because here's the thing. It's a process. It's something that's always evolving. When you deploy a website, the work is just beginning. The work is just starting. Um, yeah, it's when the real work begins. It's the maintenance, it's the little things. Set aside an hour or 2 hours a week to go in, look at your QA list, make small refinements. It's a process. What did we do? Fixing some spacing issues. Okay. Let me see if we're still get my phone figured out here. Okay. Here we go. Oh, isn't that slick? So much smoother, that search bar transition. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I feel I feel a lot more motivated now to get some content written, make my about page, get a form in there, get my screenshots done, add the remaining projects. So, oh, 404. That's because of that's not going to work. That we know that's not going to work on GitHub pages. So, let's go ahead and deploy. It's time to deploy, right? Pixel Mind is apologizing. You know what? Uh, just it's really not cool to go into I don't know what the point of going into a live stream is. If I look like the type of person who has extra cash to throw around, first of all, but also I'm not like an empathetic person. So if you came here for sympathy or um I don't know. That's just I'm the wrong lady for that. I don't give a shit about stuff like that. You need money, go get a job like the rest of us. Sorry. I'm never going to respond well to somebody who's asking for handouts. It's not how the world works. Get busy, do some work. HBK says, when are you starting a new project? I'm starting next weekend. So, starting Friday, we're going to start at noon on Friday. So, there's that. Okay. Let's go to GitHub and do our pull request. Um, layout fixes, new JS, styling, etc. All right, there's our little builder. Give that a moment. Pixel Mind says, how do you get jobs? That's what I've been struggling with for some time now. Um, yeah, I mean, we've talked about this in the past. Um, what works for me is getting out into the community, meeting people, talking to people. Um, the clients that I have are mostly small businesses or sole proprietors, some larger businesses, but mostly small businesses. And I get business and I find new clients because I talk to people. I take my dog to the dog park and I talk to the people at the dog park. You never know who owns a business and who needs a website. Other small business owners talk to each other. They went to high school together. They went to college together. They were in the same fraternity or sorority with each other. They're like a little, it's like a little mafioso. Small business owners, they all know people. They all know each other. They talk to each other. Who did you use for this? Who helped you with that? Word of mouth, referrals, so important. I think sites like Fiverr and Upwork, it's very difficult to find good work on those sites. Very difficult to find good work on those sites. I think you are much better off getting out into your community, talking to people that you go to school with, that you go to, if you go to church, talking to people who, just talking to other small business people and getting referrals. So, in my opinion and in my experience, that's the best way to find new clients. Julian Velez is here. Welcome. Hello. And HBK says, I will join you with your new project, and that will help me to revise my concept and build my portfolio. Yeah. It can be difficult to find ideas for a portfolio. I will acknowledge that, especially if you don't have clients or if you're new, right? I tell people to do exactly what I do on this channel, which is grab a layout, grab a mock-up, and just work on practicing your UI skills. That's personally the type of thing that I really enjoy doing. And I think it looks good in a portfolio. Julian says your work is amazing. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. This has been deployed. So now we're going to go to I can spell it right. practicelayouts.com. I think everything's deployed because look at our sidebar. Look at our button. Look at our very dramatic disabled load more. It's overkill. We should just be hiding the button. I will do that at some point. We have enough space on top here. We have a good amount of space on the bottom. Nice. Good, good, good. Nice. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's check mobile. All right. Here we go. practicelayouts.com. Look at that transition. So much better. I mean, I still don't think this looks exactly how I envisioned the search bar, I mean. But I think for now it's fine. I'm happy with it. But I am happy with the transition, the timing. It's very smooth. I think our drawer looks good. Good. I like it. Let's make sure our load more works. Oh, yeah. Our load more is at the bottom of the container, not at the bottom of the list of projects. Um, we need to fix that. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Um, I'm like running out of energy today to work on this, but we have to fix that. So I am going to fix that this week, and I will have it done before Friday when we start our next project. When we start our next project, I'm done for today. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm starting to get a little cranky. I want to go outside and feel some sunshine, go get some lunch, take Heidi for a walk, even though she's sleeping soundly. She doesn't care, but I think I'm just done. And that's okay. So I'm going to get that button fixed. The reason I didn't put it inside the container is because it was going to mess with the grid. That's why. But obviously we have to fix that. So I'm just going to have to add another div, I think. And that's fine. That's fine. But it's like every time you add a div and our styles are really specific because there's inner pages and wraps and heroes here and not there. It adds a little layer of complexity. And I know that if I'm like, oh, I'll just go add it here real quick, it's going to open up a can of worms. So I'm just going to do it myself this week and I will have it fixed before next weekend. Yeah. So I think that's it. I think that's it. Everybody, whoops, everybody, thank you for coming to hang out with me today. Thank you for letting me show you all the Codex stuff, all the transcript stuff, because I'm so excited about it. I think it adds a lot of context to the database, why I think this database is so important. Oh, I mean, let me connect the dots, a couple more dots for the database. The point of the database is that I can do keyword searches. So again, I'll use the example of deployment. Let's say I do a keyword search in my database for deployment. That will give me, the database should return the dates of the streams that I talked about deployment and the exact name of the transcript that is about deployment. You know what I mean? So let's say I want to do an ebook on deployment because I actually want to write an ebook on deployment for front-end developers. I want all of the stream transcripts where we did a deployment day. I want those transcripts so I can have Codex do the type of job that we did today, where it goes and it finds all my quotes and the things that I said and helps me organize how I would write a book like that, an ebook like that. So there's that. That's the point of the database. Plus, I just think it would be really fun. And then when we're done with this database, we're going to do another database because this first database is going to be private. I don't want anybody else to be able to go and like search my database of content because it's my content. But I do want to do a public version of this database. So I have an idea for another database that's not going to be exactly the same, but will be very similar using public domain information. So I'm not going to say what it is now, but I'm going to tell you what it is when we finish the first database and we start working on the second database. So thank you to everybody who is here in the chat. Monique Robinson, Malik Robinson, Emilio were the mods in the chat. Thank you everybody for your questions, your comments, your support. Today was fun. Have a great rest of your day wherever you are. I will see you this week on Friday when we're going to start working on our new project. Bye-bye.